Welcome to the Pharmacy Frontiers podcast, a podcast dedicated to the profession of pharmacy. Today, we're excited to turn over the podcast to the students from the St. Louis College of Pharmacy at the University of Health Science and Pharmacy in St. Louis with their podcast titled Dose of Knowledge. We give credit to Professors Stephanie Lucas and Terry Walholick for mentoring these students for these leadership podcasts. Let me remind everyone that the Pharmacy Frontiers podcast is available for streaming on your favorite podcast streaming app, whether it be Apple, Podbean, Spotify, or YouTube. The comments and opinions shared today are those of the hosts and our guests and are not official statements of the Missouri Pharmacy Association, Mitchell Pharmacy, Mercy, nor the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis. Now let's hand the microphone over to our students.
Welcome to Pharmasearch, the podcast where we fact-check your late-night "what medicine should I buy" searches and show you how pharmacists can turn confusion into confidence. We're your hosts, Isaac Gallinero,
Iman Zwawi,
James Marjama,
Sam Ngole,
and Hyojung Bae.
We're second-year pharmacy students doing our part to help people make sense of online health information and find trustworthy answers about their medications. We're here to teach you about how to be an active participant in your own healthcare by doing your own research in a thoughtful and responsible way. We'll also discuss the limitations of online health information, including how search engines and AI summaries can present incomplete or inaccurate data. We want to let you know why you can't just Google it. We'll look at how misinformation circulates and the steps you can take to evaluate sources critically. So grab your coffee, and maybe not a search bar, and let's figure out what's real, what's risky, and when to just ask your pharmacist.
I want you to imagine this. You've been feeling under the weather recently, and you want to go to the store to buy medicine to help you feel better. You go to the cough and cold section, wondering what medicine to get, and you are met with hundreds of products that leave you with more questions than where you started.
Even though I'm a pharmacy student, I've been in this situation before. I can understand how frustrating it is. You look at the medication aisle and you'll see hundreds upon hundreds of different brands of cough syrup, and it's difficult to know what exactly is right for you because you're hit with a wall of all these different active ingredients and other things like flavorings, syrup. It's really difficult, and I can understand from a patient's perspective why that can be troubling.
It's important to be curious about your health care, especially when talking to your healthcare professionals.
In pharmacy school, we spend years and years learning about all of these medications. We don't expect patients to come in and know everything about all their medications. It takes a lot of training and dedication, but you should be curious about your health.
Right. It's important to know what medications you're taking, what they do for your body, and the best person to answer that is the pharmacist. For example, let's pretend you grab acetaminophen, or as it's commonly known for its brand name, Tylenol, from the over-the-counter medicine aisle. You're trying to treat your fever, but you heard a TikTok recently talking about the dangers of taking Tylenol and are starting to wonder if this is the right thing to get, even though it's something you've used before. Sam, what should people know about the role of pharmacists in answering those kinds of questions?
Pharmacists play many different roles, but the main role that they play in all health settings will be them being the medication experts. Patients may have questions like, how do I know which medication is the best? And your pharmacist would be the main person to ask.
Yeah, I think it's super important to ask your pharmacist these kinds of questions. So in this scenario, when you are in the store, a lot of the medications are sorted by what they're used to treat. So when you're looking at the fever reducer section, you'll see things like Tylenol, Aleve, and Motrin. How are you supposed to know as a patient which one is best for you? Those are the kind of questions that pharmacists are trained to answer.
And TikToks like this do exist. During our research, we found TikToks saying different things from what a pharmacist would recommend for agents like this.
The same medications located together on the shelves can have multiple different dosage forms, combination products, strengths, side effects, and risks, which are things that pharmacists spend years studying.
Questions like this can be intimidating, but there is somebody trained to help you. Sam, what would you say to people who think pharmacists are just pill counters?
Pharmacists are doctors, just like your physician, and are far more than just pill counters, like one might think. If you want to learn more about how the role of pharmacists has changed in healthcare, we recommend that you check out our classmates' podcast, A History of Pharmacy.
In pharmacy school, we are required to take classes on counseling patients, in their medication questions, how to make medication recommendations and substitutions, and how to research the answers to all questions we are asked.
A very important point in that is the research aspect. Even if pharmacists can't answer every question, we are trained to find reliable sources to help answer it.
To those of you in the audience that may be wondering, why can't I just Google that? We'll be talking about how to set yourself up to do your own research responsibly. In the overwhelming pharmacy aisles, you look at the line up to the pharmacist and think about how long it would take to reach them and ask these questions. Or maybe you're nervous about asking questions about a medication that everybody already uses, so you consider Googling the answers to your question.
In the same way you would ask a mechanic how to fix your car, pharmacists are trained to answer medication-related questions. This is not limited to what we are filling in those bright orange pill bottles. A major emphasis in the pharmacy school curriculum is the use of over-the-counter medications. Also, we are trained to look at each patient individually so we can find the best medication specifically for you. What should people consider or keep in mind when doing this own research?
It's important to avoid websites that end in .com versus ending in .org, .edu, or .gov. A lot of websites that end in .com are commercial websites, and they could be just pushing a specific narrative.
What about cross-referencing, like using multiple sources to consider the same question to compare?
I think cross-referencing is a really important part of the research project. You're able to look at multiple sources who will say the same thing differently or correct misinformation. But like Sam said, it's important to make sure that the sources you are cross-referencing use .org, .edu, or .gov.
Okay, so last question. What is the importance of looking for credentials when using sources?
I think credentials are important. Once again, tying back to what Sam said, .com, anyone can really post on those websites because they're for commercial purposes. Comparatively to the .org, .edu, and .gov websites, these people have the credentials to back up the research that they're doing, as well as the sole purpose of informing you on what you're looking up. .com can be a whole variety of reasonings, whether it's pushing some sort of agenda or thought process about a medication. It can be a lot of things, and paying attention to those credentials can help you sort through what can be trustworthy.
For example, medlineplus.gov. This is a website that is comprehensive and easy to use guide formatted in a question and answer style. For example, what side effects can this medication cause? What should I do if I forget a dose? Also, pdr.net is a website more focused on the brand name and formulations of the product. This website is helpful in determining what to buy in store rather than doing generalized research.
With that being said, researching on your own needs to be done in a very thoughtful way. There's no cutting corners in effective medical research.
The internet is all about efficiency. With endless information right at our fingertips, it's important to discuss the various search engines and tools that are aimed at expediting internet searches and why they may not be effective in accurate and reliable research.
One thing many of us may have seen when doing a Google search is at the very top of it, there will always be an immediate response without clicking into a website. The old way of doing that was the Google snippet, which pulled short quotes from one highly trafficked website. It was very convenient, but it was not fact-checked. One study found that when researching 10 common household drugs using 6 questions that anybody might ask about them, such as their use, their dose, and side effects, the overall accuracy and completeness for those answers was less than 50%. And for specifically the question of how do I take this drug, accuracy was under 25% when rated by pharmacists. Now, AI Overview has replaced snippets. It gathers information from multiple websites, rephrases them, and puts it right at the front of your search. This is potentially more complete, but can still be misinterpreted or potentially spread misinformation. As of yet, we haven't found any published studies comparing AI Overview yet, so we can't say for certain how effective AI would be in answering your questions. Since we don't know for certain, please be careful, follow more tried and true methods.
Tools that gather and summarize information don't give the whole picture in the same way a research article can.
AI tools and summaries are good at compiling information, but if you want more specific care and questions that are related to you, a pharmacist might be able to do more thorough and thoughtful research through databases.
Tools that gather and summarize information don't give the whole picture in the same way a research article can. AI search tools and summaries may be able to help treat a more generalized audience, but finding care specific to you requires a pharmacist or at the very least thorough and thoughtful research. We encourage going beyond search tools like snippets or AI and utilize strategies from the previous segments to verify the information you found.
To further discuss how pharmacists learn to give the best medication advice, how we can stay safe and up to date as technology changes the field of healthcare, and to offer her wisdom as a professor and as a pharmacist, we invited a very special guest.
Hello, my name is Dr. Yasmina Profirovic. It is really great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I am an associate professor of pharmacology and the vice chair of academics in the Department of Pharmaceutical and Administrative Sciences at St. Louis College of Pharmacy. I got my pharmacy degree from the University of Belgrade and a PhD degree from UIC College of Medicine. I also completed a postdoctoral training at UIC. My work experience comes from teaching, research, and pharmaceutical industry.
How have you seen AI tools influence how people approach drug information and learn about medications?
Our approach to finding information has changed a lot in recent years. Many people now start with tools like ChatGPT or online searches before consulting traditional sources, or many times skip them entirely. AI and other online tools can make it easy to quickly learn about how medications work, their side effects, and how they are used. Depending on how questions are asked, AI can explain concepts in simple terms and provide concise summaries. In fact, AI tools are now embedded in the search engines. However, it's important to be careful. Sometimes AI can give incorrect or misleading information, including false references or no references at all. It's essential to check facts with trusted sources like healthcare professionals or reliable drug databases. Patients may feel well informed about their medications, but some information found online can be incomplete or inaccurate. That is a real problem when you are very confident in your knowledge, but unfortunately, it's not exactly complete and accurate. This is where pharmacists play a key role, helping people understand their medications correctly and clearing up any misunderstandings.
How are you approaching the changes in technology like Google Snippets or Google AI or otherwise in your own career?
Tools like AI are becoming part of our everyday lives. As a pharmacist and a teacher, I believe it's very important to use these tools wisely and ethically. I explore AI through different professional development opportunities such as conferences, webinars, and personal experimentation. I am applying it to enhance student learning, my teaching and research, to organize information, and even manage everyday tasks. For example, AI can help generate ideas, draft some assessments, summarize information, or suggest ways to explain complex topics. But everything it produces is carefully reviewed, selected, and heavily edited before being shared. I think AI can be used as a starting point, aid, or complement to the pharmacist's expertise, but not the source of final answers. Any use of AI should be approached with understanding data privacy, accuracy, bias, copyright, academic honesty, and other issues. As AI-based tools evolve and we gain more experience with them, we may uncover entirely new uses and limitations in the years to come.
Have you had any experiences with AI hallucinations or misinterpretations of pharmacological or medical information?
This is a key question. When I first started using AI, I asked questions about topics I already knew well, so I could spot any mistakes. And yes, there were mistakes and misinterpretations. Many of those I was able to discover. This helped me be more careful with new information that I wanted to learn. It is key how we ask the questions. The way questions are asked can affect AI's answers, but even with well-formulated questions or prompts, AI can still give incorrect information or cite sources that don't exist. All that in perfect grammar and formatting and plenty of praise for our great questions. That's why it's important to double check any AI provided information before relying on it. These mistakes in AI output could be used as valuable teaching moments for students, either to demonstrate how unreliable AI could be or have students compare the information from different sources and learn the material even better while developing their critical thinking skills. Our students learn how to find accurate drug information and how to critically evaluate the information for unreliable sources. They are ready.
How can we support the public in building trust in pharmacists and their medication expertise?
Pharmacy education prepares us to be medication experts and trusted sources of medication information. We also listen with empathy and educate our patients to understand the appropriate use of medications. Pharmacists are visible and approachable in clinics, community events, health fairs, and online spaces. Social media and digital platforms can be also used to share reliable medication information, correct myths, and explain pharmacists' role in plain language. Advocacy is essential. Pharmacists work with legislators to advance and expand their role in patient care. No matter how much technology changes, patients can and should always turn to pharmacists they trust for guidance and answers. Pharmacists use their professional expertise to help people understand their medications, make informed choices, and manage their health safely.
Back at the pharmacy, you realize after doing some searches on your phone that you will still have to go to the counter to check out anyways. But now you've done a little bit of research of your own and can have a more confident discussion with the pharmacist about whether this drug is right for you.
As future pharmacists, we can confidently say, please come ask us questions. We want to help you get better. And we love it when our patients are curious and want to learn more about their health.
And that wraps up today's episode of Pharmasearch. If there's one takeaway we hope sticks with you, it's this. Curiosity about your health is a good thing, but trusted guidance makes all the difference. The internet can be a great place to start learning, but pharmacists are here to help you finish the journey safely. Next time you're standing in a crowded medication aisle or staring at an online result that doesn't quite make sense, remember, you don't have to figure it out alone. Ask your pharmacist. They make sense of all the fine print, so you don't have to. We want to thank you for listening and want to remind all of our listeners to stay curious, stay smart, and most importantly, stay healthy.
A big thank you, students, for hosting the Dose of Knowledge podcast as part of the Pharmacy Frontiers. And thank you to our listeners for joining us today. Please share this episode with your friends and seek out other Dose of Knowledge podcasts on the Pharmacy Frontiers podcast page that can be found on your favorite podcast channel.